was pointlessly blabbering like so much. Oh my god, I was literally pointlessly blabbering. Anyway, so I just finished reading Honor by Elif Shafak, and if I'm looking down, Nietzsche is there. I have my notes. Okay, so just to be clear out there. Anyway, I first started, I discovered Elif Shafak when I was like 13, 14, like way back in college. And I was like, I read her debut novel for the very first time, which was I think 40 Rules of Love. And I went crazy. I was like, I need to read all her books. I don't care even if she have written like 1,000,000 books, I don't care. I'm gonna read all of her books. And then I did. I read all of her books, and I took a vow. I promised myself that I'm never going to read or revisit her again. And I never did. I genuinely never did. And after like 13, 14 years later, I don't know what came upon me, but I was like, oh my god, like I need to pick her book. I was falling into this reading slump, and I was like, oh my god, I need to read Elif Shafak for some reason. So I picked her book again, and a lot has changed since. I think I understand the characters' nuances more. I understand her writing more. I understand where the characters are coming from. I understand where the author is coming from when, she was writing those characters and everything. So like, I think, yeah, a lot has changed since then. Okay, so we'll get right into the story and everything. Just a disclaimer before you get into the video. The thing is, I seriously don't know how to review this book because this is very personal to me. This is very close to my heart. There were a lot of emotions that went into this book and reading this book. So I genuinely don't know how do I avoid giving spoilers, or how do I even give a review that could satisfy the audience in a way, maybe, but I'll try my best. Okay, so basically the story is set in Turkey, a very small city in Turkey, a small village in Turkey, and it follows the story of Naze and Berzo, whatever you want to call it. Naze basically has 7 daughters. So if you're not familiar with like Asian culture or Asian society, or even the subcontinent society, people are kind of obsessed with having a son, right? I don't want to get into details of it, but they think it will provide the married couple who's conceiving, if they have a son, it will be more secure in a way, because the son is going to provide, the son is going to work. Typical mentality, let's not get into it. So basically, because they were trying for a son, they had 7 daughters. And the story follows of the last 2 daughters who were twin, basically, right? Pembe and Jamila. So, and the story of the name Pembe and Jamila came like this. When Naze, conceived these twins, she was so tired, she was so done, and I think that was so beautiful when she, came up with these names. She was so tired and she was so done that, oh my god, like, please, creator, give me a son, I want a son, give me a son, give me a son. And she wouldn't speak to the kids, right? She wouldn't speak to her husband. Naze wouldn't speak to her husband. Naze wouldn't speak to her daughters. And she was like, okay, now I have decided on a name, right? And then she goes like, okay, yeah, like the people go like, okay, what name have you decided? And then she goes like, there's going to be enough destiny, because she is basically questioning the creator in the story, that I've had enough. So it was Yether and Kader, okay, and she was like, okay, Yether is enough and Kader is destiny. But then people were like, okay, you can't name this thing that is going to be blasphemous, that you're questioning his creativity and his miracle and whatnot. So she was like, okay, fine, if I can't name that, I'll put like Pembe and Jamila. So like it was Pembe Kader and Jamila Yeter. So Pink Destiny and Enough Beauty. Even though Pembe and Jamila were twins, they had very, 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 very different personality from each other. Pembe was more adventurous. She wanted to, there was this one paragraph where she says that I want to see the world, I want to sail the world, see what is out there and everything. And Jamila was a more feminine, softer, composed sort of thing. She never really desired to, go out and see the world and stuff like that. She never had that thing. And so it follows the story of those two twins, and then so the story is written in a way that it also follows the stories of Pembe's kids. Okay, so it's Pembe, Jamila, right? And then Pembe's kids, Esma, Yunus, and Skandar. So it's like 5 different plot points. And then Pembe's husband, Adam, 6 different plot points. And then Pembe's lover, sort of. I personally wouldn't call him lover, Ilyas. I won't call him lover, but yeah. So it's like 7 different plot points, right? See how, like, you got 7 different plot points and you're expecting me to tell you, like, expecting me to give you a review without any spoilers. It is not possible. So it also follows the story of Esma, it also follows the story of Yunus and Skandar. Skandar is basically Pembe's firstborn, right? And because he was like, she basically got a son and not her mother, so she kind of develops this superstitions that my mother didn't, my mother never conceived a son and I did, which was like a huge thing in itself. And like, she feels that her mother's ghost must be laughing at her or something, feeling sad or anyways or whatever, right? So she kind of have this like superstition that something might happen to her family or to Skandar. And because Skandar was like the firstborn, she really, really, really wanted to protect him. And she always called him like my sultan, my lion, my this, my that, right? So yeah, I think you can understand that. Then Jamila becomes a midwife after Pembe. Not after, but like she stays not so married. She stays a sinister, right? She was like, I really hope sinister is the word. I really hope so. Anyway, she basically, and the villagers call her like something version, I forgot about it, I'm sorry. Okay, so they basically call her what do they call her? I have not written that thing. Anyway, they basically call her something virgin. Okay, I forgot the first one, but something mother virgin? No. Pious virgin, so along those lines. Okay, and she becomes a midwife, so she helps people, conceiving their babies. She never got married, and the reason she never got married is because so like long time, like when they were kids or something, or probably teenagers, there was this dude, Adam. He visited this village in Turkey, like wherever they were living. There was a wedding, and he had to attend that wedding on behalf of his father or brother or something, right? And he had to attend that wedding, and there, like where the wedding is happening, he meets Jamila, who is like more feminine and composed and compassionate. So they start talking and they kind of fall in love, right? But they fall in love, right? And Jamila is like, okay, if you are in love with me, sure, go ahead, ask. Like, my father. It wasn't like a very set thing, but that is how it goes. And Adam is also thinking about asking for Jamila's hand in marriage from like Jamila's father. He's like, I'm gonna ask Jamila's father to, give me her hand or whatever, so that I can just marry this girl right off the bat. And oh my god, I'm so in love and this and that, right? So he basically talks about this, the whole marriage prospect. He talks about this to this village head. So the village head tells him something about the Perzo family, the Jamila and Pembe's family, some secrets and something which I cannot tell. I am sorry, which I cannot tell. So he basically tells them to Adam, and Adam is like, okay, wow, this is crazy. Now I'm not going to marry Jamila, I'm going to marry Pembe. So he never loved Pembe even after they got married. They somehow had 3 kids, but they never loved each other. They were always bickering, always tired, fighting, and Adam had a huge gambling addiction. So he used to gamble a lot, and he never used to drink, like at least it's not mentioned in the book, but he had a gambling addiction, right? And he always used to be with other women in a way. So yeah, so like after like I don't know how many years, but approximately 3 years of marriage, like they find an opportunity. They move to UK. Okay, they moved to London, UK, and by that time, they have like, before moving to UK, Pembe and Adam have like 2 kids. Skander, the eldest one, whom she calls her Sultan, her lion, whatever, and then Esma, right? So they both also, they're not twins, they're like 2 years apart, but they also have like a very different personality. Skander is more like macho and this and that, and it is also understandable because Skandar's father was never, at home, so he had to grow up before his age, like he had to. And then Esma was like a reader, or like she wanted to become a writer and stuff. And after they moved to UK, they conceived another son, Yunus. And personally, my heart goes out to Yunus because he is such a sweet, sweet, sweet boy. Even though like he's young, he's he's young and he's so sweet. And the whole story of how she got the name, like how she ended up naming her last son Yunus, and the whole story of whale eating a prophet and everything. So yeah, well, life goes on, life happens, life is, they're living, they're trying, Pamela is trying to work, Pamela is trying to find find ways to live a UK life, maybe, because again, like she's from Turkey and she doesn't really speak English, because of course English is not her first language, so she's weak, but she is like struggling. But the kids, the first two they learn fast, and and the third one was born here only, like in UK, London. So it wasn't a problem for Eunice, right? So yeah, this happens. I am still got a gambling problem, and then so during this time, like all the kids are now, not all except for Eunice, Asma and Skander are teenagers. They have their own thing going on, whatever. Pembe finds a job at a hair salon. So she doesn't really cut hair, but she just cleaning and maintaining the salon and everything. And before that, she was working as a cleaning lady at some rich ladies' place, whatnot. Okay, so what happened was that Pembe goes to this cafe, right? And because English is not her first language, she is like, oh my god, I need to order coffee because I need to order eclairs. She loves eclairs. So I need to order eclairs, and I need to get some things for my kids or the salon or whatever. I need to order this, but the staff was kind of racist towards her, and because her English was very weak, it took her a lot of time. So behind her standing was Ilyas. Yeah, now Ilyas jumps in. Elias, whatever I called Elias in my head, but it could be Elias. It's Elais. Elias. What? He's of Greek descent. So basically, he is there at the cafe as well, and he sees it all, and he was like, "Okay, you can't treat customers like that. That is like racism. It's wrong and whatnot." But he's also like, he's Greek descent, but he's also kind of white because he lived his whole life in Canada, and he's a chef. So that is where Pembe and Elias meet, and it kind of blooms. It is very sweet to see Pembe, reaching out to him in a very confined, I don't know, like reaching out to him without disclosing or without disrespecting her boundaries in a way. So yeah, they meet and everything happens, and they're like, okay, fine, we need to figure out a way. So every week they go to watch these silent movies. Sometimes it's Charlie Chaplin, sometimes it's some other silent movie. That's how they meet, that's how they never talk. Honestly speaking, they never talk. Elias or Elias sort of gets curious, scared, like, what does she do? I need to know, who is this woman? I don't know. She knows everything about me at this point, and I don't know anything about her. And so basically he kind of ends up at her hair salon place, but it was like a very sweet thing. I don't want to get into details again. Oh my god, like avoiding the details is so difficult. So all of this is happening, right? Skander and Esma are teenagers. So Esma and Skander, Esma is not like, she is a major, there's no plot point towards Esma's story, so I'm just gonna let that be on the side. We are going to come to Skander now. So basically, Skander is now like hot blooded, and he's also kind of hot because like he does boxing and everything, and he doesn't really care about girls because girls always like him. There's this kind of thing, right? So girls always are buzzing around him in a way. So like he never really cared about girls, but he was like into boxing and stuff like that, right? And he really, like, at least to me, it felt that he genuinely cared for her mother in a way, like in a very elder son way. Yeah, in that sense. So he's very hot blooded, and he somehow ends up meeting this dude, the orator, or yeah, the orator or something. He's some, I think he is some religious dude or something, or some religious loan shark. Because when Adam wanted to visit this dude, he wanted to visit this orator guy for money to move out of London. Okay, so basically he meets this orator guy, and he gives like Skandar some sort of like religious talk that, you know, women this and women that. I don't want to, you know, get into that thing, but like he sort of tries to brainwash or something like that, because he also sees through Skandar. Everybody can see through Skandar that he's such a hot blooded person, that anything can, it is very easy to manipulate Skandar. And then during this time, MBA is also being careful. Jamila is like, you know, helping people conceive their babies and everything. In Turkey, there's things happening in UK and all of that. This happens, that happens. So Skandar, not Skandar. Skandar, yes, Skandar. Skandar has this uncle, basically Adam's brother, Uncle Tarek, who's also in UK. And he runs a convenience grocery store sort of thing. He kind of ends up watching this. I don't know how I know how he ends up watching this silent movie, or where he sees Pembe with Elias, whatever, the Greek descent guy. Yeah, so Uncle Tarek kind of sees Pembe with this dude, and Uncle Tarek was like, oh my god, like, I have mommy issues, girl, I have mommy issues. There's no way I'm putting like my nephew, nieces, and all of that, and this is going to, you know, come to our family name, like Tarek's family and Adam's family, basically. So it is going to come at us. Before it comes at us, I'm just going to talk to Skandar. So even Tarek, Uncle Tarek, kind of brainwashes Skandar into, you know, like, oh my god, like, women that, women this. And Skandar ends up visiting Adam. Adam is like, oh my god, I don't want to go home because we don't love each other. And Skandar's like, what the hell, why did you guys marry? And Adam is not able to explain that to his son, that why do people marry. Yeah, it is a lot, it is a lot, it is a lot. All of that is happening. Yeah, so Pembe is like, and now I can't meet Elias, the Greek descent. I can't meet him because like now my son has figured out, and I don't know what is going to happen, and blah blah blah. So during this time, Jamila gets this feeling that Pembe is in danger, which she is. She kind of gets this lucid dream where she's like, oh my god, Pembe is in danger. So she kind of Jamila figures out a way to visit Pembe in UK, and she gets there and she sees her sister, and she's like, okay, fine, cool, whatever, right? Not whatever, okay. Jamila visits Pembe. Skandar doesn't know that Aunt Jamila is visiting them. Only Esma knows and Yunus knows, because Yunus for some reason was staying at home. He didn't want to go to school, right? And after that, a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen to Jamila, a lot of things happen to Pembe, a lot of things happen to Skandar. I wouldn't call Skandar a villain. I I don't think so he's a villain. I think I have, I don't know, I understand where he was coming from, because considering how his mother was treating him, considering how, the absence of father has shaped up his personality and everything, and considering all the talks that he was getting from the orator and Uncle Tarek, I wouldn't consider Skandar a villain. There's a lot. I think this. Okay. I am in no position to say that what Skandar did was not, was not wrong. It was wrong. It shouldn't have been like that. Like, yeah, but I understand what he did. I understand what went through his brain, and I understand the people contributing towards that. I understand what went to his brain when those people, the orator and Uncle Tariq and everything, and even to some extent Skandar's father, all of them were contributing towards his thought processing and what he did, basically. So yeah, I have a lot of space for Skandar. I think he really did learn his lesson. He did. He deserved, not saying that he did not deserve the punishment that he got. He did. That punishment was so needed for him, for his character development. But he is not a villain, at least in my eyes. And I cannot go any further into the book and the story and the plotting, because if I went any further, that is going to be a spoiler, and I genuinely don't want to give spoilers. I want you guys to have your curiosity and genuinely pick up her books. I love Elif Shafak. I think she pays a lot of attention to complexity of being a human. I don't know how to describe it, but I truly understand where all her characters were coming from, and it was genuinely so gut wrenching in a way to see those characters. And because there was a huge relatability factor involved, because this happens. If you are from the subcontinent, and if you are a part of an Asian community or whatnot, I think when you read her books, or when you truly read and understand and comprehend her writing, the relatability factor is just, there's no denying in that. So yeah, I would highly recommend you to read this book, but do not read it when you're like 15 or 16. Probably don't, because I don't know what I was thinking, and I don't know why was a 16-year-old reading this. The themes are heavy, the themes are dark, the themes are beyond a 16-year-old's brain, because they are driven by hormones. I wouldn't recommend to a 16-year-old. If you're slightly older, 20, 21, 22, please please do read her books. Her books are simple in terms of writing. There's not a lot of jargon that you're, oh my god, like I need to pick up a dictionary every single sentence or so, at every single sentence or so. So no, her books are pretty simple to read. They're pretty easy to comprehend as well, if you do have the brain capacity to do so. I don't know if you guys can see it on my face or my eyes or anything, or in my voice even, like if you guys can sense it, but books do something to you, man. They do something to you, and sometimes it's just beyond words and beyond anything. Like I cannot explain it in a video, I cannot explain it in a word, in words. Like I genuinely cannot. So do read it, please do read it. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for my next read. Please do let me know if you guys have any recommendation for my next read, because I want it to be a little interesting and captivating. Like I want the writing to, you know, like, yeah. If that makes any sense. I am so tired. I say that in every video, you know. I came from uni and then I was like, I need to shoot this video because then eventually I'll forget about it and I won't get time, because then I'll have my exams and everything. And I didn't do an Instagram reel sort of thing for this thing, because even though I had my script written, I don't know that it captures the essence or the emotion or anything that this book does to you. I don't think so I'll ever be able to convince people to read her books in through a reel or a YouTube video. But since we have started this thing, me and Uji have started this thing, we have to do this. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is going to happen. Yeah, guys, happy reading to you, and oh my god, I am very tired.